can lead to a revolution. That's it. Absolutely.
You get obsessed about this idea of emptiness, and you begin to level up the understanding, and then you play with it and you put it into some kind of practice.
There are things that you want to tell everybody about it, right? Like you just start learning this, and you go to everybody like, wow, I found out about this, and nobody, like everybody looks at you like,
let's go shopping.
Yeah.
Good. Good. So if you're taking in this medicine, this stuff that the Buddha said, the only way it works is if you take it in and do something with it. Just here it doesn't do it. Yeah. So I encourage you, whatever experience you've had about these insights, they're available. They can turn on a life that is completely and utterly amazing. It's another universe congruent or in sync with this one, and somehow they function, together. This ultimate and relative reality, and it's free. It's free. But it is scary at the beginning. So then, ACI 3, we talked about applied meditation. I'm not going to share too much with you, but we talked about, there's this handout on the website. This was like the summary of the entire course. It was this chart describing the steps of meditation, the 5 problems to meditation, the 8 antidotes, the 9 stages, the 6 powers, the 4 blah blahs. Do you remember all that?
Yes.
After that course, you should be meditating. The point is, okay, you understand the reality wasn't the way you thought. There's these 3 states of mind you can develop towards enlightenment. You really can take refuge in this idea that things don't come from themselves, that things are changeable. You're not stuck in this kind of world. There is refuge to be had that your world can transform. And then you get taught to where to look for that. And that's sit down and meditate. Sit down and slow it right down and see the world. See, you've never seen it before. And slowly but surely, building up your meditation from day to day, from 5 minutes or 3 minutes to 5 minutes to 10 minutes, that you should be at some point meditating up to 45 to an hour and a half if you can. But that's difficult to do at the beginning. So after you got some download from this ACI 3, you should have gone, let me just start. It's not hard, right, to watch your mind. It's your stupid mind. So why can't you just sit there and listen to your mind? I mean, you own it. Why can't you just own it? And then you try, and then a minute goes past, and your mind is crazy. Our minds are bizarre, upside down, jumping from object to object like a monkey. You've got zero control of your mind. And if you're stubborn, you're going to figure it out. Or if you've got some good seed, you're going to sit there and make efforts. And the idea is to make regular, consistent efforts and battle all the enemies of your mind until you get some constant practice. And then you get some really deep, beautiful insights into these ideas. And then we jump onto so that was the summary of ACI 3, this chart with the 5 problems, 8 antidotes. We won't talk about it right now. Then we went on to ACI 4, which talked about the mind as a continuum, the proof of past and future lives, the idea that, if you think this is it, you're not. This is an evolving, changing thing that has been here from time without beginning. Your experience of this thing. And after you go, you're not stopping. It doesn't stop. So if you want more of the same, keep doing the same. If you want to be different, there's an opportunity to shift gears. So past and future lives, ACI 4 should have woken up the mind about what's a valid perception, what is the mind, where's the origin of the mind, where does it come from, all the way to realizing that moment by moment consciousnesses, the consciousness of your mind, moment to moment mind, is here from time without beginning and will not cease. And if it's hurting right now, then you go back and go, well, I can figure out what to do to shift that. And the practice becomes the practice of experiencing your mind and shifting your mind and changing and putting the courses in your mind to produce the most ultimate state you can. awakened state. And then after that, we did. So then, how would you have practiced differently if you got ACI 4 or the nuggets of proof of future lives?
You would understand that how you live your life today produces your life to come in the future.
And that what you received here, what you are here, came from eons of experiences and habituation before. I tell you what it did for me. It scared me a little bit because I thought this Buddhist thing is easy. We can figure this out. We can see this directly, no problem, and then I'll be done. But it didn't really hit me that we're talking about timelessness. That I'm responsible for some future experience. But somehow I had it in my mind that at the end of this life it would end. It's finished. I've won. It's all good. The ACI 4 for me made me think long term, really long term. And it burned the fire of responsibility of doing something in this life like never before.
It tells you that to have this life that you have now, you have to be doing pretty damn good.
To have the leisure and fortune of being in this kind of state is rare. And it didn't just happen. It came from something. And it's using up that something. Then we did ACI 5. We talked about where it came from. Talked about karma. And for those of you who were in the course, the handout for karma was that thing which talked about in my early school, how karma is carried. This idea of these energies that move and flow and turn your existence. That if things are empty, the only way you experience them, they are here, they are real, you are experiencing life, it's true. And that didn't happen out there, it happened because of these things, these energies inside of you, the karmas, the actions of body, speech and mind that you carry out in this world is what's producing your world. And so we summarize that in the 4x4 of karma and these 3 spheres. We don't need to go into that because we've got 10 minutes. And I really think the thought we were going to have more time. But the thing that it should have done at the end of karma is really made you look into your actions. How you think, how you speak, and what you do. The 3 places where you plant karmas. The 3 places where you seed your future world. Yeah? And so it should make you a little bit conscious of this amazing opportunity to begin to test these theories and plant a field of something over here and watch it ripen. If you get all the nuances of all the rules and regulations and all the teachings of the Buddha that says how karma works, it's a complete different way of living in this world. It's not, at the very basis, what should have brought you at this point in time, ACI 5, what your mind should have come to is the idea that the way you get things in this world is not by taking anymore. That the way you get things in this world is by making sure others get. And then there are all subtleties to it. But at your heart, you should have done a 360 on the only way I've been fortunate enough to have this kind of experience of life, living in this kind of country, surrounded by these kind of people, interested in these kind of ideas, with enough leisure and fortune to listen to them and put them into some kind of practice and so on, and meaning and the rest. That all that stuff is a production, it's a ripening of a storehouse of goodness inside of you. And you don't need 2 brains to figure out that you, in this kind of life, in this nice fancy room, in the biggest city in the United States, nice shampoo, obsessed with it. Came from something. And we come with this impulse that the only way we get is take it, that's mine, my opportunity, my next one. It's actually the way we learn in this course, it's the way to destroy this thing. The only way to ensure that there's enough in this world for you and everyone else is to give. And that joy of giving, we were just talking with Cliff about I like the distinction, the beautiful, the genuine giving, meaning selflessly giving, without expecting anything in return, and giving so I can get good karma, or I can get anything. It's measurable, you're saying, right? It's scientifically measurable that one has a genuine positive impact at your cellular level and the other one doesn't.
That's a real practice. I don't want to distract from my no way to finish, but finding like switching from thinking about giving and being like, oh, this is going to help my karma, versus really trying to give selflessly. It's a real practice. Yeah, it is. But I also want to say something. Don't beat yourself up. Yeah, I do that. Everyone does that. Yeah, we are here. We've been pushed in here like I don't know, like meat in a sausage factory, pushed out into the sausage that is you, and inside that sausage is that selfishness that says me. Yeah? You came here that way. So use that if you have to. If you're good enough to practice and know what it feels like, you just need to know once or twice what it feels like to give without expecting anything in return. That in itself should force you to want that feeling more and more for yourself and others. Yeah? And the best way to do that is to give anonymously, to make sure nobody knows you've planted a little present over there for somebody that doesn't know that it was you who did it. Yeah? And just watch. But if you can't do that, it's okay to use the selfishness me until you get the habit of. Yeah? So it's okay. Yeah? So then after that, we come to this most beautiful thing called Sutra, which I may as well just teach you what it means. Here we go. The Diamond Cutter Sutra. I need to tell you this to start with. Somewhere in the middle of the sutra. Sutra is a word spoken by the Buddha around 500 BC, Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah? And it really is, it starts off with the sutra describing the Buddha getting dressed and going out and begging with his begging bowl for food and coming back to a place where they practice. And one of his students, Subhuti, who's usually the one asking the questions, after they finished eating, kneels down and asks him a question, and then the whole sutra is just this beautiful question and answer about the most profound understanding of the nature of reality from the Buddha. And if you don't know what you're looking for, it might seem repetitive. There's been some bizarre translations of the Diamond Cutter Sutra, mostly called the Diamond Sutra, so they even omit the part cutter, which is vital and important. We'll cover in 2 minutes. Yeah, and I'll review it next time. So the Diamond Cutter Sutra was a word spoken by the Buddha, requested by Subhuti, which is a tradition that you see both in the sutras and in Tibetan Buddhist philosophy, which is the only way you get teachings is by asking for teachings. So this thing has to come from you to say, Buddha, please teach me. And then the Buddha speaks. So then they go eat, come back, they sit down, the Buddha enters some kind of state of meditation, and this discourse happens between Subhuti and the Buddha. You need to know that somewhere in the middle of the sutra, the Buddha says, I'll paraphrase, those that get to hear and internalize and practice this sutra, some horrible things will happen to them. Some terrible thing will happen to those fortunate beings who get to hear this profound and deep teaching. And the way that it's phrased is to tell you, expect some obstacles upon hearing the most profound explanation of the reality around you. And it is a kind of purification. It's not like a terrible thing. I'd forgotten about that until I came here today, that there was this warning in the middle of the sutra. If you are going to hear woo, if you're going to hear the sutra, bad stuff's going to happen. Yeah? It's likely to happen. And what that means is that you are purifying countless eons of negative karma, and it will appear as whatever the obstruction is. And the obstruction can be here, I can't concentrate, I can't listen, I'm thinking of this, or whatever. It can be anything, even more. For me, I got to hear the Diamond Cutter Sutra in California, taught by Holy Geshe Michael in the most beautiful place, Vajrapani. Vajrapani Institute over there. And it really was entering a different way of looking at what this practice was. And within 4 weeks I was in Australia and unable to return to the United States. And for 9.5 years, all I did was long to be here, and I couldn't be here. And it didn't occur to me until coming to this class that kind of strong purification occurred for me, in my experience of listening to the sutra, even in the middle of this warning event. Things will be purifying for you if you listen to this sutra. So the sutra deals with it's a prajna paramita, which means the perfection of wisdom. So what's perfection of wisdom mean? What is the perfection of wisdom?
Hold on.
You've been looking it up.
No, I was just saying that's like so. I want to say fucked. It's like now your mind's like, oh shit, and you're thinking of the worst thing that's gonna happen. No, I know. I'm just saying your mind's like, oh my god, I'm looking out for all these things, and it's like the. Be careful of the vase. Don't worry about the vase that drops. And
in the
Matrix, she's like, don't worry about the vase that you knock over. And he's like, what? And turns around and knocks over a vase. But okay, sorry.
No. I don't. It's not to scare you, and it's not anything. I have to tell you that because if you do see obstacles, you need to know that these are obstacles, and they can be purifications. Especially understanding where things come from. If you're witnessing an obstacle, you're about to be told the ultimate meaning of reality, and then you're like, did you notice that over there? Like, you're missing the point. If something is distracting you, pulling you away, it's an obstacle. Yeah? So it's a deep warning to keep focused, keep attentive. It is your experience of reality. I'm not doing it to scare you. I'm sorry. But it occurred to me how serious it was for me, the transformation. All I wanted to was be here, and I was away for 9 years. Yeah? But it paid off for me in more ways than one. Yeah? It was some kind of purification for me, and it can be. So I'm just saying, keep attentive to your focus, be present, don't let distractions distract you. Don't let obstacles distract you.
If you get deported,
call me. I know a good lawyer. So prajna paramita, perfection of wisdom. I'm going to go over another 10 minutes. If you need to go, it's okay to go now. It could be an obstacle, but I promise the next few lines are important. Yeah. So, what is the perfection of wisdom? What is it?
It's prajna paramita, which means the vehicle that takes you to the other side, or the wisdom realizing emptiness.
Excellent. Perfect. So, the perfection of wisdom is perceiving emptiness, defined by the Tibetan commentaries,
perceiving emptiness with bodhicitta in your mind. That's amazing, right? Perceiving emptiness with bodhicitta is the perfection of wisdom. Wisdom means emptiness, right? So this is in the group of sutras called the prajnaparamitas, the things that take you there. Yeah? What is it? Emptiness. Not just any emptiness. Emptiness imbued with bodhicitta. Yeah? Wow. Perfection of wisdom. So it's talking about the 5 paths. And here I have to tell you about the 5 paths. So the first path, the first of the 5 paths is the path of accumulation. Is where you get real renunciation. You say, okay, I'm done. This is suffering. But I understand that suffering, that the way to figure out suffering is this emptiness thing. So you begin accumulating merit and other good things that will take you to the second path. I'm going to go fast on these, which is the path of preparation, which means you are preparing yourself, doing this that we're doing right now, intellectually conceptualizing this idea of what's emptiness, what is emptiness, what's bodhicitta, you're preparing your mind. So first path, accumulation. Second path, preparation. You're beginning to get some kind of structure in your mind about what is this world, and that has 4 steps in it. We won't go into it. It's like rubbing 2 sticks together. They say it's warmth is the first step. When you rub 2 things together, right, you begin to get some kind of warmth, and then some level or something like this. And at some point, when your understanding of emptiness gets so good at that second thing, the commentaries say that you're no longer reborn in any kind of lower realm because you understand where things come from. Okay, so that's sort of interesting to know, but it's not the goal. The goal at the end of the second path, the path of preparation, at the very last moments of the second path, you have a direct and visceral awake experience of this thing called dependent origination. You've intellectualized these ideas enough, and then you begin to have this movement inside of you which forces you to see how you are constructing the universe around you. So you will have this matrix-like moment towards the last part of the second path, which shows you truly that how that thing is appearing to you. For a Hinayana practitioner, that thing might be what I said before, that the flower is only ever made up of non-flower things. It's made out of water and sunshine and earth and things. There's nothing here making it a flower. The cloud is in the flower. The water is in the flower. The oceans were the cloud. The oceans were the rivers. That everything is in this flower. In the Prasangika, in the Majjhimika Prasangika point of view, you get to experience how you are labeling and naming those things appearing to your mind. You deconstruct your reality, you see how your mind is projecting onto that thing a reality that you thought was out there. And that's the end of the second part. And then if you've been practicing meditation, if you've been able to focus your mind, you would go into some kind of meditation where you move away all distractions and you have this visceral experience of the opposite side of that. So you saw dependent origination, how things appear. The other side, so just that's one side of the paper. The other side of that is emptiness. Yeah, one with the other. It's 2 sides of the same coin. This is supporting this side, that is supporting that side, according to the way it's been expressed. Yeah? So in this deep state of meditation, you will
you will have anywhere up to 10 to 15 or 20 minute experience where you are not sitting there going, I'm having a direct experience of something. There is no you to perceive, because you are in the direct perception of ultimate reality. Ultimate reality. And you, whoever you are a relative reality. So you can't have a relative thing in the ultimate thing. So you are in, from what I've heard, you have this direct experience, and upon coming, the second half of the third path, which is the path of seeing, upon coming out of that experience, the world begins to reassert itself like it used to, and you begin to have an understanding of what you just saw. The next 24 hours, you have these 16 realizations, which are summarized in the four Arial truths, that the world is suffering, that suffering was caused, that there is a way out of suffering, and that has a path, that has a way out, that there's a way to make that. So you have these 16 realizations that are summarized in that, and you also have all these other side things. You begin to realize, so I've heard, that you just experienced an ultimate thing, and that never in your life had you experienced that thing before. That up until this point, every single experience you've had was wrong, was a mistake, was upside down. And it's no longer intellectual, it's now unknown. Well, they say you meet the Dharmakaya, which is the mind of the Buddha, tenets of the Buddha. They say that as you begin to piece together what just transpired, you have a recollection of seeing yourself as a future Buddha. You'll know how long it would take for you to become an enlightened being. That you, if you have bodhicitta, you'll see every face of every being, etc. It is a most profound. If mind is timeless, no beginning, no end, it is the differentiating point between, and you are called a different thing, you're an Arya. Yeah, from that moment on, you know that you're on your way out of suffering. No more grasping to this idea of where do things come from. No longer doubt is removed over there. It's one of the cessations that comes out. The Prajnaparamita talks about the production of that, talks about that, dives your mind constantly into that, talks about what that is, talking about the third path. Just to complete, the fourth path is called the path of habituation, where you begin to habituate your mind, your experience of living, to what you just saw, not what's being presented to you. Because the world is beginning to close in on you like it was before that moment. And we're talking about Odysseus. He goes on a boat past the sirens, and the sirens sing this beautiful song that if you hear it, it makes you crash your ship, and then they take you to their heavenly pleasures, or whatever they do on the island. The sirens, they've got fins. Yeah, and so he had to go past it, and he wants to hear their sound. So he ordered his men to wax up their ears and row past the sirens and tie him to the mast so he could hear the sirens, but not act upon their singing. This would be similar to that. You would have seen something completely and utterly ultimate. You would know what the truth is, and the world will begin to reassert itself. The old karmas will begin to reassert themselves like the sirens calling to crash your boat, except this time you know you're crazy. Before you didn't. Yeah? So the path of habituation is beginning to habituate your mind to what you just saw and begin to shift this reality. And that could take anywhere up to, let's say, up to 7 lifetimes. And then the last path, the fifth path is path. It's not really a path. It's it's in a state of being. Yeah, it's good. So Prajnaparamita talks about that stuff. The third path. Something I didn't talk about in the third path, which is the point. As you're having those 16 realizations that are encompassed in the Four Arya Truths, your mind begins to grasp for and look for some kind of metaphor that relates to that ultimate thing that you just saw. And the closest thing, the most ultimate thing on this planet that your mind can go to is a diamond. The idea of a diamond. A diamond is the hardest substance on the planet. There's nothing that can scratch a diamond except another diamond. And so the diamond has three qualities. And even if you don't know anything about diamonds, they say your mind will instantly search for anything on this planet that is close to the ultimate nature of what you just saw. And so diamond becomes the metaphor, and then you become obsessed with diamonds, according to what I hear. And so diamonds have three qualities that are like that ultimate thing you just experienced. And number one, it is the hardest, the most ultimate thing. So in hardness, it is closest to the most ultimate thing. It is the most ultimately hard thing on this planet. The other thing is, if you a diamond is totally clear. It's not like glass that when you put glass on its side you can see like a green or a blue tinge because it's got impurities. It is so pure because it's just carbon that if you had a wall of diamond as big as this room between you and I, you would not tell that it was here because there's no impurities. And like emptiness, it is all around us and you would not be able to see it. In fact, everything in this room has its own emptiness. Emptiness is always here. It is the nature of things, and we are blind to it. We can't see it. So it's clear and like the diamond. And then, if you smash a diamond, you can smash it, but you can't scratch it. If you smash a diamond, every particle of diamond is exactly the same molecularly as the other shards of diamond. They'll break in a specific point. And like that, every emptiness of every object, of all emptiness, is exactly the same as that thing that you just saw. In fact, when you are in that direct experience of emptiness, there is zero difference between what you were experiencing and what the Buddha Shakyamuni is and was experiencing. It's the ultimate nature. There's zero difference. So there's three qualities of diamond. And the title, which is perhaps the most important part of the entire sutra, because then it begins to dig at why, is that diamond cutter. Vajra in Sanskrit, cherika, or dorje chupa. Yeah? Diamond cutter. And the reason cutter is so important in the title is that the direct experience of the ultimate thing you've just had is so much more ultimate than the hardest, most ultimate thing you can find on this planet, the diamond. It's so much more that it cuts the diamond. It smashes the diamond. It cuts the metaphor. The diamond is the closest thing you can get to the ultimate, because it's the most hard, etc. But it's so far away, this cuts it, completely destroys it. The other thing that I've heard mentioned for the word cherika or cutter is that it cuts your delusion for good. I mean, you're a stream enterer. From this point on, you are cut away from having to suffer the nature of samsara. So you're cut from that. So when you get to so it's important to know that you're getting the right translations for this sutra. There are many translations. It's actually the oldest printed book in the world
first printed book in the world in Chinese was the Diamond Cutter Sutra. Every single person in Mongolia had a Diamond Cutter Sutra in their home, and a couple of times a year monks would come and recite the entire sutra. It is the most profound thing that you'll get to hear. I think that's all I have to tell you, except the sutra begins by Subhuti saying, "O Venerable One, Lord Buddha." This great idea about bodhisattvas being the person that cares for other beings, right, wants to free them. This sounds like a really good deal. I'm sure you can say that, right? But how should bodhisattvas think? And what should they do? And what should they act? So he asks the Buddha, this is the beginning of the sutra, how should we think if we are aspiring beings that want to go into this greater way of realizing the ultimate wish for the sake of everyone else? How should we think? How should we act? And the Buddha replies by saying, "Oh, very good, Subhuti. Very nice question. And next week I'll tell you the answer." Yeah. But before I do, I promised you that between every class, the next class we'll be doing ACI 6, class 2 and 3 together. Yeah. I'm going to ask that you, if you were ACI 3, you would have heard the source of all my good. It's a Lamrim text, a practice that encompasses the entire path. It's a supplication to all teachers, to your Lama, to your Guru, to whatever you know is the ultimate source of knowledge for you. It's a supplication to them to please help you get the realizations locked inside the Diamond Cutter Sutra. So, I mean, that's what I would like you to use it for. It's not, it's supplication to your lamas and your teachers saying, please stay with me, stay close, keep my mind focused, help me not get lost in the obstacles that might come my way. Please come. So I'm going to invite you, for those of you that want to stay, I know it's late, but I think this is an important thing. You don't have to stay. I'm actually going to sit and recite it before I go. You're more than welcome to go. I know it's late. So you have a copy here, or there's a download here called The Source of All My Good. You want to pass them around. Again, that's all you got to do between now and then, and maybe the homework. Yeah. 1? Yeah?
1?
Yeah. Homework 1. And then instead of meditating, or as well as meditating, if you could recite this every single day between now and next week, that would be a really good blessing for your mind to see if you can unlock the secrets inside the Diamond Cutter Sutra. Yeah? I invite you, if you want to stay, you can. It'll only take 5 minutes to read out. Yeah? You're also welcome to go, no judgment, no problem. If you want to read along, you can. What you should have, thanks Paul, what you should have in your mind is whatever it is for you that a teacher appears, that you get an insight from your guru, your teacher, whoever that is, whatever that is, you should bring them to mind, keep them close, and let them take care of you every day between now and next week. This will ensure you get perfect teachings. This is leveling up practice. So here I go. If you don't want to read, you can just close your eyes. It's a beautiful prayer. So, the source of all my good is my kind Lama, my Lord. Bless me first to see that taking myself to him in the proper way is the very root of the path, and grant me then to serve them and follow him with all my strength and reverence. Bless me first to realize that the excellent life of leisure I've found just this once is ever so hard to find and ever so valuable. Grant me then to wish and never stop to wish, that I could take its essence night and day. My body and the life in it are fleeting as the bubbles in the sea froth of a wave. Bless me first thus to recall the death that will destroy me soon, and help me find sure knowledge that after I have died, the things that I've done, the white or black, and all these deeds will bring to me, follow always close behind, as certain as my shadow. Grant me then ever to be careful to stop the slightest wrongs of many wrongs we do, and try try to carry out instead each and every good of the many that we made. Bless me to receive all the seemingly good things of this life. I can never get enough of them. They cannot be trusted. They are the door to every pain I have. Grant me then to strive instead for the happiness of freedom. Grant that these pure thoughts may lead me to be watchful and to recall what I should be doing. Grant me to give the greatest care to take the vows of morality, the essence of my practice. They are the root of the Buddha's teachings. I have slipped and fallen into the sea of suffering life. Bless me to see that every living being, everyone my own mother, has fallen into. Grant me then to practice this highest wish for enlightenment, to take on myself the task of freeing them all. Bless me to see clearly that the wish itself is not enough, for if I am not well trained in the three moralities, I cannot become a Buddha. Grant me then the fierce resolve to master the vows for the children of the victors. Grant that I may quickly gain the path where quietude and insight join together, one which quiets my mind from being distracted to wrong objects, the other which analyzes the perfect meaning in the correct way. Grant that once I've practiced well, that have shared and become a vessel that is worthy, I enter with perfect ease the way of the diamond, the highest of all ways, holiest door to come inside for the fortunate and the good. Bless me to know with genuine certainty that when I've entered thus, the causes that give me both attainments is keeping my pledges and vows most pure. Grant me then to always keep them, even if it costs my life. Bless me next to realize precisely the crucial points of both the stages, the essence of the secret ways. Grant me then to practice as the Holy Ones have spoken, putting all my effort in and never leaving off the practice of the 4 times highest that there is. Bless me, grant me that the spiritual guide who shows me this good road and all my true companions in this quest live long and fruitful lives. Bless and grant me that the great obstacles, things within me or outside me that could stop me now, stop and end forever. In all my lives may I never live apart from my perfect lamas. May I bask in the glory of the Dharma. May I fulfill perfectly every good quality of every level and path, and reach then quickly the place where I become myself, the keeper of the time. That's so profound. Thank you for reading that with me. Quick dedication, and keep it in your hearts. And quickly bring in your Lama or your teacher, entering the crown of your head and lowering and getting smaller until they sit at a lotus in your heart. You see the world like they see the world. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope to see the same back channel, obstacle free,